So like I said, if you're not sitting next to someone, please do sit next to at least one other person. It can be groups of at least two, groups of at least two. It can be more than two. You can work in pairs. You can work in threes, fours, whatever you want to do. Okay, we're all good? So today we're going to look at case studies. I don't know how it's going to turn out as far as time is concerned. I prepared 2 case studies. We may only discuss 1 case study. It just depends on how much you have to say about it. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to look at stories of abuse. These are based off of real things. They're not necessarily, everything is not necessarily an actual story that happened, but they're based off of real people and real situations. Obviously, the names have been changed, things like that. What's that?
To protect the innocent.
Exactly. But basically, what the point of this lesson is to just practice talking about things that make us uncomfortable. Okay? That's kind of what we're doing here today. So we're going to look at 2 different aspects. So we're going to look at how this couple looks to the outside world, and then what's happening behind closed doors. Okay? So our first one is called Jack and Diane. Yes, it was on purpose. So I'll go ahead and read it, and then I'll give you time to think about it. All right. How they look to the world. Jack was a doctor with a successful private practice. Diane, his wife, held a prominent position in a respected corporate company. They had 2 children who were well-behaved, held good grades, and involved in extracurricular activities at their school. And they always wore designer clothes. They had a big, gorgeous house in the suburbs, stylishly decorated. Every year, they would take vacations to nice foreign resorts. Furthermore, Diane was socialized with her friends regularly, but she was never seen with Jack at work-related parties. Other than that, Jack poured himself into his job. All right, so we're going to think about what could be some red flags. You guys know what red flags are, right? Okay, so I'll go back. Think about what could be some red flags. Read through it again, think about it, and I'll give you some time to do that. If you like, discuss with the person next to you, see what they think. And there's no right or wrong answer. It's just it's really just speculation. So whatever you're thinking is fine. But let me know when you're ready once you have some thoughts. Go ahead, Andy.
First red flag I see is I don't see God, Jesus in there at all.
Okay, yeah, there's no...
Where's God?
Okay.
You can have all that. You see these successful couples that's got this and that and everything going for them. They got God involved.
Okay.
I wonder why things ain't working out.
Good. One thing he said, I don't see any Jesus in there. I don't see God. No mention of church, right? Nothing like that. Good. Yeah, that's a really important one. What else? Yes.
They never were seen together, and he's always working.
Okay. Yeah, so they're never seen together, especially at like social events. And then the husband is always working. Good. Anything else that might jump out to you? Yes, sir.
Seems like their kids are, since wearing designer clothes, very like good in school. It could be a lot of focus on their kids
Ah,
and not on, you know, taking care of your family by going on a vacation in some foreign place may not always be the best way to.
okay. So you see, maybe there's a highlight on the kids. Maybe going on vacations isn't always the best thing to do. Okay, yeah, could be. Anything else? Okay, so now I'm going to pass out to you what's called what was really happening. So now it's going to be revealed to you what's actually happening behind closed doors. So once you get it, read this in your groups, discuss it. Yep, I think there's 2 in there as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. How many do we need? Just one? Okay. So go ahead, take some time and read this. Once you do, here's what I want you to think about. So in your groups, recognize what patterns of abuse do we recognize? In what ways might some of their problems have been prevented? Using scriptural principles, what might we say to the abusee? And using scriptural principles, what might we say to the abused? So go ahead and discuss all these things in your group, please. Dean, can you do me a favor? Could you sit next to Eddie? Because we're working in groups. No? Okay. I designed it to be in groups.
You can sit with us.
Figured I'd just be a fly on the wall.
Okay. I know it's a lot of reading, which is why I said we might only get through one case study today. Yes.
Does this come, is this from court or from a counseling session? Information, or is this,
It's just from, I got it from Kingdom Workers, and it doesn't say where it's how.
but it's a true thing?
It's based off of true things. It may not all be one part of one couple.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, sir. To the abused. Typo. Yeah. 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 Glad you asked.
Not the person that claimed it.
Yeah, to the abused.
And Jack is still busy with his job, so actually, they got separated. And then
Guys have thoughts? Raise your hand if you'd like more time to discuss in your group. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about it then. So, first one, what patterns of abuse do we recognize in this story? Name specific ones. Emotional, how so? Okay, disrespecting him.
Right? Telling the kids they don't have to listen to the old man. That's it, you're not getting any for whatever, I'm not gonna give you any. And she wanted him to leave his job, and then when he eventually did, they ended up separating anyway. So it seemed like whatever he would do, it wasn't gonna,
Yeah.
it wasn't gonna stop, it wasn't gonna, the flood's coming, no matter what. Plug up, it would be another week.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So we see. Yes. Go ahead.
Well, very controlling.
Very controlling. Yeah, for sure. For sure, controlling through the finances, manipulating the kids, and therefore the causing verbal and emotional abuse. Go ahead.
Overriding, I viewed it as spousal abuse.
Yep.
Because she actually entered the marriage not in full agreement with
Yeah.
what a marriage entails.
Right. Yeah. And so that could be how going into how could it have been prevented by not getting married. It's probably one of them. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Do you have a hand over here?
Not only was she controlling him, but she was like withholding sex. She was tracking him. I mean, who does that? Oh my gosh. I mean,
People do it. People do this.
Again, overriding, ultimately, she used the twins, withholding sex and withholding money.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was a drunk. She drank a lot. I shouldn't say she's a drunk.
Right.
She drank a lot.
Yep. Led to some physical abuse too. Yeah.
Because he would try to protect himself from her,
Right.
and then she would call it abuse.
Right.
That's all he was trying to do was protect himself.
Yep. Good. Yes.
And just way to prevent just discussing their careers.
Ah.
Like it seems both had their careers, what they wanted to do in mind. Neither one wanted to be a stay-at-home parent.
Yep.
So talk about it before. Get that
Yeah.
taken out.
Right. Exactly. Over here.
I thought it was kind of interesting that she would be violent towards him, and then when he tried to grab her arm, he was abusive.
Yeah. Yeah. So lying, right? Kind of, again, manipulation. What else? What other things did she do? Kind of towards the end part. Say it again.
Wouldn't let him, after they were getting divorced, she wanted everything,
She wouldn't. Yeah. She wanted everything.
even his thing. Personal things, she wanted all of it.
Yeah. She wouldn't let him retrieve his stuff.
Not only that, but earlier than that point, when he decided that maybe they should seek help in saving the marriage, she kind of gave it a once-over.
Right.
And when, most likely when she realized it wouldn't end up her way, she was done with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do this anymore.
That wasn't a good couple to get married, they should have had more counseling. way before
Yeah.
they got married.
Absolutely. Mary.
I heard that this is related, I think. I heard a thing on WTMJ, they were asking people, would you marry the same person over that you married?
Okay.
They had a national record of this, and 2/3 of the people said yes, they'd marry the same person, but that leaves 1/3
Yeah.
of the people said no.
Wow. Which is quite a bit of people. Yeah. 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 She said, did you guys all hear that? Okay. Let me know if you can't hear what people say. Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, the tracking device.
Oh, sure.
That, what was she was hoping to find something wrong that he did.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was not doing anything wrong.
She was hoping to find something wrong. Yeah. Peggy, did I see your hand? Okay.
Ultimately, it was Jesus on trial. Didn't really do anything,
Uh-huh.
but we're gonna find something.
Try to find something. Right.
Something.
Yeah. Yeah, and then towards the end, what's one of the other abuse that she does towards the end? I haven't heard that one yet. Yes, sir.
She was looking for blaming him for the divorce. Why is he ending the marriage? Though he had tried, it says in the previous paragraph, previous couple, that he was trying really hard to make things right, to fix things, even give up his job. So yes, she was still blaming him for ending the marriage.
Good, good. What else? What else in that last paragraph? that he that he tried to save the marriage through counseling, but she wasn't having any of it. What else did you say?
Yeah, just he seemed to be doing everything to
Oh,
not go through divorce. But
yeah.
she was still blaming him.
Yeah, she was still blaming him for it. Could be. Reputation, yeah, that was kind of the one I was thinking about. So she's breaking eighth commandment stuff, right? She's trying to not only does she cause all these problems in the marriage, but she's trying to make him look bad in the eyes of other people. And just reputation is priceless. You know what I mean? And just imagine if she's saying, "Oh, he's doing all these things. He hits me. He grabs me. It's because of him that we're getting divorced." Just imagine. Did I see a hand over here?
Yeah, but that, why didn't they pray about it?
They tried everything else but God.
Good.
Doing counseling, doing this.
Yeah.
I'll change the job, all right, you can watch me, here I am,
Yep.
all this, and none of that's working.
Right. So what are some things that the husband specifically could have done more?
I think one thing is he needed to communicate more and take more interest because she was in charge of the finances. She gave him an allowance and he didn't even know how much she was making.
Yeah.
That's really bad. I mean, you need to communicate
Yeah.
more and
Absolutely. Communication is key, right? He let her take control of the finances, which is fine, but he didn't have any knowledge of what was happening, right? She had a good job as well, but he didn't even know how much she made, right? And it's just no communication. Yes.
I think that they started out badly because there is neglect there. If he's working long hours,
Yep.
he's on call, and they're not spending any time together, they're doomed to fail.
Yeah.
You have to spend,
You have to spend time together.
you have to be together sometime.
Right.
And that's the beginning of their problems. Is
Right.
that they were never on the same page.
Yeah, they were never on the same page. And presumably, maybe the wife also doesn't recognize that her job probably took quite a bit of time as well. But she's just kind of seeing it from, oh, you're not taking time off. But you know what I mean? What else? Anything else on what else the husband could have done?
I guess he's kind of touched on
Yeah.
the finances, but just the roles of the man in the household. It's being a leader. Like if you are spending that much time at work, then you're probably not being a good leader at your household as well.
Yeah.
And then her also not following her role as a woman in the household. Just not being discussed, not being figured out. Seems like work is more important than their marriage.
Yeah, good thought. Perhaps work was more important to him. And from his perspective, maybe it's like, well, I'm just trying to provide for my family, right? And then I come home, and then my kids won't listen to me. What's going on, right? But maybe he should have been more intentional about the family life, right? Yes, sir. Jim.
What jumps out at me as Christian or not, they don't have the foggiest notion of what love is.
They don't have a what?
The foggiest notion of what love is.
They don't have the foggiest notion of what love is. Yeah. 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 It seems like money was making the money was pretty important, huh?
But in a way, can you blame him? I mean, if you're being abused that badly, I would work too.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Well, he did, it says when he was home, he did try to help around the home, so we don't know how much that was.
Right.
He could have been the cook, doing the dishes, who knows?
Yeah. He could have been trying doing dishes or laundry or who knows, whenever he had time. Okay, now let's move on to what scriptural principles would you share with the abusee and with the one being abused? Yes.
First of all, in a marriage, you're supposed to be a helpmate.
Say it again. You're supposed to. Yes.
Your obligation is to be a helpmate.
A helpmate.
It's
Yeah.
give and take.
Give and take. Okay.
I think both of them were living their marriage as a take and take.
They were, yeah, that's a good thought. They were both living as a take and take rather than a give and take. I think that's a good thought. Thoughts over here?
This is kind of nearing like the end of the story, but I would say to the abused, like, abuse is a scriptural reason for divorce, so not to feel that you should be trapped.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, so from a scriptural perspective, this divorce was legit.
Secondarily, in a marriage, having gone to multiple marriage seminars over the years, first and foremost, what Jim pointed out, there's got to be love in the marriage.
Yeah.
And the thing that overrode in all of the marriage seminars that I ever went to is that it's not a 50-50 situation. Because as soon as you put a 50-50 situation into play, you're judging whether you got your 50 in yet.
Yeah.
You haven't got it yet.
They say instead you should be looking at giving 100%, if not more than.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, both sides giving 100% rather than both giving 50-50. I like that concept. That's good. What other things would you say to either one? To either one, using scriptural principles if you can.
They should have looked closer at their relationship before ever starting. Because again, had they gone in under scriptural basis for getting married, I don't think they would have.
Yeah, could be.
Because ultimately they were going in with unachievable expectations.
Okay. Jim.
Another thing I'd point out is what we pray in the Lord's Prayer, forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. Marriage is got to be based on a lot of forgiveness.
Yeah, a marriage got to be based on a lot of forgiveness, using the concept of the Lord's Prayer, forgive us as we forgive those who sin against us. Caleb?
I would say God shows us an example of a marriage with Christ in the church.
Uh-huh.
And to the abusee, for sure, I'd say you're not following this example at all.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'd say you're not following the example that God made for us. And the perfect example is Jesus and the church.
Well, I don't think they should have got married in the first place.
Yeah? Probably not. Unfortunately, this is a lot of people, right? There's a lot of people in our country around the world that are not Christian and they get married. Now, does that mean that you're not going to have problems even if you are Christian? No. There could still be abuse. Anything else for either one?
I just think what he was trying to do at the end, he maybe should have done a lot sooner.
Okay.
By going to counseling.
Yeah.
That was a good idea, but it should have been. Mandated, had to go. And then, and like you just were saying, he should have been the head of the household.
Yeah.
Type of a thing, and not her.
Right.
And she should have been his helper, though, where she should have.
Right.
They should have been working together and not.
Yeah. Exactly. Should have been working together, not separately. Oh, yes.
Again, respect in the marriage,
Yeah.
which led to the disrespect
Yep.
in a parental
Yep.
setting.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because in Ephesians, it specifically tells, it's two different things, right? So it specifically tells the wife to respect the husband, and it specifically tells the husband to love the wife and honor your wife. So those are two things that are kind of unnatural for both sides. So women kind of like love stuff like hugs and those type of things, leaving notes, things that men would find corny, right? But that's what they like. On the other hand, men like respect. They like hearing, oh, I like the way you handled that situation. Or I really respect you for doing this around the house. things like that. And that's going to make the man feel good. On the other hand, the woman needs more tender type stuff. So in this situation, it seems like maybe he wasn't taking enough time to do those tender things for her, and that led perhaps to her not respecting him, right?
Yeah, but she would
Could be.
she would withhold sex from him, so I mean, that's not.
But it's not just physical intimacy. It's more than that, right? It's thoughtful things.
But it also stated that the wife was supporting her children's disrespect.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
If a parenting situation is divided, parenting will fail.
Absolutely. Did I see a hand, Tom? Okay. All right, how are we feeling? How are we feeling? Do we feel like we can go on to the next one? The next one's a little bit shorter. Yes? Okay, let's move on then. So same thing again. I'll read how they look to the world, and then I'll hand out what was really happening. So this one's called Mark and Sally. Okay. Mark works in a high-level government job, and his wife, Sally, is a stay-at-home mother. They have 4 beautiful kids. Early on in their relationship, years before, Sally had dropped out of college and worked to aid Mark in paying for his tuition. Because of Mark's job, they would move often. But both were active church members. Mark even served on church council for a while. Mark would also coach some of his kids' sports teams. He never raised his voice with the kids and was noted as being patient. Sally is quite introverted, but whenever she talks to others, she always seems to be praising Mark. Sally was always the first to volunteer for church events and always maintained, without fail, a clean and orderly house. One could say that they have an Instagram perfect life. What could be some red flags? So go ahead, read through it again. Think about what could be some red flags. Hold on a second. I'm going to wait for people to think about it a little bit longer. This one's a little bit harder, admittedly. Just a second. I'm going to wait a little bit longer. Again, there's no right or wrong answers. It's just speculation. All right, seems like some of the talking is quieting down. So what are some red flags that could be there? Anybody? Yes, sir.
I see 2,
Okay, go ahead. What are they?
resentment and competition.
Explain. Can you?
The resentment aspect is that the wife gave up
Okay.
her education so that there's kind of an implied setting in those
Uh-huh.
situations that once the husband gets his, then he will support his wife's getting her education.
Ah, okay.
Didn't happen.
Okay. Okay.
Their volunteering concept, again, holds this underlying concept of who's going to do more
Uh-huh.
and who's going to get more credit.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh,
It's human nature.
yeah. Okay. Good thoughts. Good thoughts. What else? What other possible red flags? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Sorry. Yes.
The fact that he was also a coach, I mean, it sounds like the type of job he had, high-level government job, that it was probably pretty stressful, number one.
Sure.
And then he's with the kids. Doesn't sound like he's at home much with his wife. And
Okay.
She has to do everything at home. She helped him get his job, so she has no income of her own. I can imagine her being pretty resentful.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So maybe she's pretty resentful that she never went back to get her degree. She's kind of doing everything at home. Good. Anything else that we might recognize? Yes.
She's not resentful.
Okay.
She's just beaten down.
She's just being what?
Beaten down.
Beaten down. Okay.
No self-esteem.
No self-esteem. Ah, why do you say that?
And we don't know for sure that she didn't go to the sporting event.
Sure. Yeah.
They must be doing these church things together. You know, if it's a supper and he's there doing one thing,
Okay.
she's doing another thing. You know, at the church, so theoretically they could be together there, but
Yeah. Peggy, can you expand on what you were saying?
It doesn't seem as though she's doing anything on her own.
Okay.
It's always for somebody else.
Uh-huh.
Where's her place?
Uh-huh. Yeah, does it seem like she does, like, never says no?
Right. Not only that too, when she does get a chance to talk, she's not talking about her.
Ah,
She's talking about how great Mark is.
right. She's,
And they move all the time.
oh, okay. Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's something in that. Yeah, good. She always talking about Mark, but they also move a lot. I think that could be a red flag. Why? Because this is what's considered an isolation tactic, where every time you keep moving, it's harder and harder to build community, right? So you kind of feel alone. Good. That's definitely one. Anything else that we might recognize? Okay. Okay. Okay, you said you don't see him.
Because, you know, the thing is that my daughter and her husband, my daughter worked for the school board, and her husband was going to school to be a lawyer, and so she worked all the time,
Yeah.
but then on weekends, he would cut grass and do, you know, little odd jobs, you know, to try to fill in and make a little bit of money. So she took care of him, the whole household,
Yeah,
until he got his degree.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, this one's hard because there may not be something wrong, right? Again, this, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. Maybe everything's good. But now I'm going to hand out what was really happening, okay? Now you guys will see what was happening behind closed doors. You want to? Yeah, okay. Sorry, these are sticking together. Yep. Sorry, these are sticking together. How many do we need? One more. Okay. Yep. Sounds good. Okay. So once again, discussing your groups, the following, what patterns of abuse do we recognize and what ways might have some of their problems been prevented? Scriptural principles for both the abusee and the abused. So go ahead and discuss all of that in your group, please. How are we doing over here? Good? How you guys doing? Doing good? Good? How you guys feeling? Good? How are we feeling here? You guys have thoughts? This group here, how are we doing? Okay, let's bring it back together. So what patterns of abuse do you recognize? What patterns of abuse do you recognize? Anybody? How? How? Yes, go ahead. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep, so that would be some verbal and emotional abuse. Yep. What else?
Relationship,
How so?
he started going with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
They got a divorce,
Mm-hmm.
and she moved away, but then, so I don't know if he still loved her or what, but he would show up at her houses,
Hmm.
Unannounced.
Hmm.
Just to see, I assume, see what she was doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it seems like he's stalking her, huh? Even years after the divorce happened. Yes, sir.
They ultimately lived a lie their entire marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first section didn't reveal a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, let's keep it hush-hush. We don't want to tell anybody else what's going on.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yep. Good. Good. Yep. Noah.
Just a comment is, it's interesting how this seems way more obvious, like very clear abuse that he's doing,
Yeah.
but it's hidden more to the outside world versus the last one was more obvious to the outside world, though the abuse was probably a little bit less direct.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. From the outside perspective, it did seem pretty good, huh? It seemed pretty good. But then when we look inside, it's pretty bad. And the other one was kind of the opposite, right? From the outside, we can already see red flags, right? What else? What about the kids? Yeah, he didn't hit the kids, but what did he do? Broke objects, yep. So what is that? What's he doing? So by not hitting her or the kids, but he breaks things and kicks the dog, what's he doing? Yes.
Keeping himself from liability in a case of physical abuse.
Possibly. What else? Show of strength. Okay, Jim. Intimidation. Yeah. Intimidation tactics. Because what's he saying? This could be you, right?
I think he wanted them to know that this could be you.
You're right. Yeah. So not only is the wife suffering, but they're seeing all the kids are seeing all this stuff too, right? And everybody is just walking on eggshells, right? Well, he look what he did to the dog. Look what he did to the vase. He hasn't done it, but at any time that could be us too, huh? What else? What else do you see? Anything else? What other types of abuse? There's a few that you haven't mentioned yet.
What's the sexual acts that were uncomfortable to her?
So sexual abuse, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so yeah, rape basically, right? Yes. There we go. That's the one. That's the other one I was looking for. So, spiritual abuse. So twisting God's word, right? These things actually do happen, guys. They actually do happen. Yes, Sue.
The other thing that I noticed is like, how can you pick her up but not take her somewhere but not pick her up? She has no money because he gives her such a fix.
Right.
How's she gonna get home?
Yeah, how's she gonna get home?
She doesn't have money.
Right. She can't even pay for the Uber or the cab. Right. It might not seem like such a big deal, but that's abuse. Right? That just general neglect and inconsiderateness. Just the neglect alone is scriptural grounds for divorce. That's a form of abuse, right? So financial abuse, that's the other one. He was unnecessarily withholding money from her and making a very strict budget, even though that was not necessary at all. Right? Just controlling every aspect of her life, essentially. What else? Anything else? Okay, so what are some ways that these problems could have been prevented? Got a job? Okay.
Well, there was the inference that they were involved in church.
Mm-hmm.
What was their motivation for being involved in church?
Mm.
Was it out of an obligation?
Mm-hmm.
Which I served on the church council,
Right.
right? I'm good.
Could be. Yeah. Ultimately, we don't know. Yeah.
How do I look? I
Yeah.
was in service.
It could be. Yeah. Ultimately, we don't really know. It could be that it was just for show. But yeah, no, it's like, yeah. So they're going to church, but again, they're moving a lot too. So it's not like the congregation has time to recognize all these patterns, right? What else? She has no friends. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
He's kind of picking and choosing what he wants to hear in church.
Oh, okay, yeah, picking and choosing what he wants to hear. Yeah, because what is he neglecting from Scripture? What is he not doing? Everything? Yeah, say it again.
Certainly not showing love.
Sure, certainly not showing love. Yep. Yes.
He's picking from scripture, telling her she has to do everything he says.
Ah,
The Bible commands it.
right.
That's not true.
That's not true at all, huh?
And love her, and what Jesus did for the church, and she's supposed to respect him. And,
Right.
and none of that's happening because she's not getting anything.
Exactly. Yeah, because the Bible says that the wife is to submit to the husband, but who is she submitting to? She is submitting to a servant leader, right? So someone who is serving like Christ, that's the person that she is submitting to. So if you think about how Christ served the church, he put our needs before himself, right? Likewise, the husband is going to put the wife's needs before himself. So in that case, would the wife have no problem submitting? No, she wouldn't, right? But that is not what's happening here, is it? Because what is he not doing? He's not loving her like himself. He's not loving his neighbor as himself, as his own body, right? Taking care of himself like he would his own body, putting her needs before himself. What else? Anything else? Yes.
Ultimately, he's acting like the Pharisees did.
Mm.
Follow the letter of the law as you see the letter of the law, but not necessarily what the law is supposed to be.
Right.
Showing our sins,
Mm-hmm.
and what we need to show is the respect for the love of the one that died for us before we even knew we needed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Jim.
I got a question for us.
Okay.
What should the church have done?
Yeah, go ahead. Go into that.
Could the
Yeah.
church have done better?
Yeah, possibly. Could the church have done better? It's possible they just didn't know. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah, a lot of things they could hide. So there's a number of things that could happen. Depending on how long they were in any one congregation, did the pastor go and visit them? Were they having conversations with the elders? You know what I mean? We don't know, ultimately. But yeah, what more could the church have done, possibly?
Well, in both of these situations, the church is kind of hit on, but it's not showing as the base
Yeah,
of their whole life.
it's not central to their life. Yeah, yeah,
It's a show.
it's a show. Okay. What else? What things what things would you say to the one being abused? What would you say to the one being abused, to the wife? Say it again? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And again, guys, this is assuming that you know all this stuff, which you do, right? Because it's been revealed to you. But in a lot of cases, you're not going to know all these details, right? Yes.
Well, I wonder, at the end it says, years later when Sally had moved. And it makes it sound like she hung around for a long time. I don't know.
Well, no, this was years later after the divorce.
Right.
Yeah.
They had a messy divorce, but then years later. Is she still hanging around?
No. So what I meant to say was this was years later after she had moved away. So 10, 15 years after the divorce, she already was moved away. Yeah, it is a type of stalking.
Right, wants to see what she's doing. Oh,
Yeah.
some guy over there, maybe I can throw a wrench into this and mess up
Right.
she's trying to do now.
Yeah, he's still
Move on.
exactly. He's still trying to control her, huh?
Right, let her go.
Yeah.
So, it didn't work. Oh, well. A lot of guys, they feel like, oh, it makes them look bad. Oh, where's my wife? I know, an ex-wife. Or whatever.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, but this does happen. It's like, yeah, they're mistreating this person, but then at the same time they're like stalking them and keeping tabs on everything that they're doing. It's crazy, but this does happen. This does happen. Yeah. Yeah.
So if she didn't get good alimony,
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. And that happens too. Unfortunately, that happens too, where the one that's abused, even if they get a divorce, they're left in a bad position. So then what would the church do in that case? How would the church help her out? Could be. Right? It may, yeah, it could be financial, but basically, the church needs to help her for the rest of her life, right? Whether it's emotional support, it's spiritual support, right? It's not just, oh, they're divorced and it's fine. Like, she's damaged. Go ahead.
Reminds me of the Good Shepherd.
Okay, go ahead, expand.
We need to be aware of these things.
Yeah.
And be a shepherd as such.
Yeah, and you don't just leave the sheep alone, right? You stay with them throughout their life. Anything else? Any last thoughts before we end here? Okay, in that case, one final question. What are some things that we found most helpful from this 4-week Bible study in helping us to discuss abuse? So you can think back to previous lessons, this lesson, just anything.
I missed the third one, so
Okay.
did we talk about putting materials out or something?
So, last lesson was about resources and how we can help them, for sure. Yes. Knowing the signs. Could be, yeah, absolutely. Being aware of things that seem strange. Go ahead.
Yeah, with that, just it's way more common than we think.
Yeah,
Be ready to show so much Christian love to a neighbor is going through something like this.
yeah, absolutely. What else? Go ahead.
Ultimately, in abusive situations, the key is knowing it exists
Yeah,
and having a course on it gives everyone the opportunity to discuss
right.
abuse.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and obviously in this series we didn't go into a lot of details, but that wasn't really the purpose. It was more just to kind of bring awareness and say this thing does happen. It happens in Christian places too, and just to be aware of it. Go ahead.
Again, this may have been discussed another time, but to what responsibility does the abused person have to get kids and other kinds of things.
Right. Yeah. It first of all, it's hard. It's really hard. A lot of the times, that person is basically living in post-traumatic stress disorder, so they can't always think properly. When they've been abused for a long period of time, it kind of changes their brain chemistry, and they're not able to always do what we would consider logical actions. And it's just hard to come forward. There's a lot of shame involved with being abused. A lot of times they feel like they're unlovable. They feel like their story will somehow contaminate you, whoever they tell. So there's a lot of reasons why people don't come forward, why people don't get out of situations. A lot of times they don't have anywhere to go to. They don't have the money, like we saw in this situation. They used up all their goodwill already. Just a lot of different things. Did I see a hand over here?
I'm going to go back to this fact that I said at the beginning of this also applies to children.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know several children personally
Yep.
that are really messed up because of the abuse they went through.
Yep. Yeah, that's I hit on it a little bit last time, but April is actually Child Abuse Awareness Month. So I think the statistic was something like 1 in 7 boys and 1 in 4 girls will be sexually abused before they turn 18. That's a lot of people, guys. That's a lot of people. So yes, it is a very real thing, regardless if they're Christian or not. It doesn't matter what socioeconomic group, what race, what country, what religion. It happens everywhere. Okay, anything else? Yes.
To emphasize, it happens
Yeah.
in God's house.
Yeah, it does. It does.
This was something that came through back when the Catholic Church was
Yeah.
under the microscope.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it didn't stop there.
Nope. Yeah, it didn't stop there.
Satan didn't stop working after he got the Catholic Church involved.
Absolutely. Okay, good, guys. Thank you for joining me for this lesson on abuse. I'm not sure what I'll do next time yet, but I'll be forming the next Bible study. So God bless your week. Thank you.